to know. I
think you're gonna like.
Oh shit! I gotta start the things.
Yeah, you got to start the bots.
Start the bots.
The bot holes.
Oh god!
Now recording.
Oh shit! Ooh, that's good stuff. Definitely
right in the bot hole.
we both got audio for that one. There's no need to kick that one off. We're good.
Right in the bot hole.
Oh man. Oh, if people join us earlier, it's
there's the notification.
Yep. Podcast is doing live.
Stick it to your local AI. Hit them right in the bot hole.
Support your local bot AI hole. AI bot hole. My grandmother used to watch. It was a Support Your Local Gunslinger. Maybe it was a movie or a TV show. It was a Western.
Interesting.
Yeah. Support Your Local Gunslinger. I don't know what that was. I can't use my PC. Let's see if it was a movie or a TV show. Support Your Local Sheriff is a 1969 film by Burt Kennedy. Support Your Local Gunfighter. Oh, it's got James Garner in it. It's a 1971 American comic western film directed by Burt Kennedy and starring James Garner and Suzanne Pleshette. You'll know James Garner as... Did you see Maverick, the old western TV show? Or
yes.
the movie with the Mel Gibson Maverick movie. He played the older guy. He wasn't Maverick in that one. Okay. He was the older guy. And he's also... I had to tell my spouse this because James Garner came up a couple weeks ago for some reason. He's the guy writing the story and reading the story in The Notebook to the lady with dementia or Alzheimer's or whatever it is she has, where he's reading this whole story to her. It's James Garner. Come for the James Garner lore. Support your local gunfighter. It's a 62% on Rotten Tomatoes. I imagine all these people are dead and gone, right? Unless somebody's like super young. 19. My parents would have been close to 20-ish, so you'd have to be a young actor at that point. Nope, he died in 2003. 2008. I get hung up on these, trying to figure these things out. Who's still alive that filmed this in 1971? So far, it's nobody. Yeah, I'm not looking anymore. Close that story. Close that link. Who we got in the chat with us?
Oh, there we go.
It's probably the usual suspects.
More than likely.
We couldn't load the viewer list. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Because it said 3 people, but nobody's in there on the Twitch dashboard. You ready to do this thing, Brant?
Let's do the thing.
What's our... Need a lead in. I got one. Let's do this thing.
It's not butthole related, is it?
Maybe.
Are you noticing clankers? Are you noticing clankers in your daily life yet?
Maybe it's butthole adjacent. What's a clanker?
They have a I would even refer to the Waymos as a clanker. Waymo.
Oh yes, I saw one of those this past weekend.
There's a little robot that cleans the floors at QT. That's a clanker.
Would my thing in the pool that sweeps the sides of the pool in the bottom be a clanker?
Maybe. I mean,
like a Roomba. I'm thinking Roomba when you said QT floor cleaner.
Right. No, the one at QT is like 2.5 foot tall. It's got a screen on it with like fake little blinking eyes. It goes on the floor and just goes, "I am cleaning the floor. Thank you for shopping at QT." It's like, get out of my way.
I haven't seen those.
You haven't seen those? Oh my gosh.
Okay, so is the cat robot thing that brings you your drinks at the sushi restaurant, is that one of them?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's definitely a clanker.
All right, I understand what we're after now. Hold on, this thing's not charging.
Uh-oh.
My lightning port might be on the end of times.
Your porthole?
Porthole.
I'm on a hole kick, apparently.
Brain got holes on the mind? Is it something we need to discuss here? Episode 396. The holiest of shows.
96.9, The Hole.
Episode 396 FM. Is that NOFODcast The Hole? WHLE. Is that us? Is that our call sign? The Hole. Do I start the lead in with that with the radio voice? Ladies and gentlemen,
you're listening to The Hole.
You're listening.
WHON.
Live. WHLE. Live from Atlanta. The Hole.
Yeah, I mean, it works.
Shithole. Scumhole.
Shithole. Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 396 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game and holiest podcast. That's right. Brant in the preamble, and that all that nonsense will be in the post after the outro. KT sent us a mustache, I think, in the thing.
Mustache.
Came up with a call sign for us. Since we were east of the Mississippi River, we have to have a W. We are W8. What is it? What am I looking at? Is that a hole? I'm in dark mode. All I see is the top of it. It's like a mustache.
It's like a little cartoon hole.
Like a golf, like you try to putt into?
Yeah.
It's a hole.
Yeah.
It's a hole. Thanks, KT. It's a hole. We're a-holes. Welcome to the Southeast premier a-hole podcast. No, Brent, I don't know how we got on holes, but Brant coined us WHLE. Welcome to that's our radio call sign.
Welcome to The Hole.
WHLE FM. The Hole. Talking video games. Did you were you ever a Frasier fan? Did you ever watch Frasier?
That was one thing. I don't know. Now that I'm older, I might enjoy it. But that was one thing. I didn't get it. My sister loves it. One of my sisters absolutely loves it.
Yes. Now that you're older, it is 1,000% your humor. So Frasier Crane he's a psychiatric. You call in and give him your problems and all that. And there's celebrity people that call in. You can look up every episode and see who it was and that sort of thing. But the shift after his is Bulldog. And he's a sports guy, and he does sports radio right after Frasier. So Frasier thinks he's a hack. He doesn't follow sports. He doesn't respect any of this stuff he does. So he comes in with he's honking all these horns, and he's got rubber chickens and tambourines, and he's beating on stuff like vuvuzelas and cowbells, and he's just making noise. And Frasier thinks he's just a total hack. They're K because they're on west of the Mississippi River. K, I can't remember the call sign from Frasier's show, but they're in Seattle. It's good, man, and you would love that show. I guarantee you would love that show.
All right, I'm gonna have to give it a shot.
Man, Frasier and Niles, the hijinks they get into as brothers, and their dad is like the retired cop that lives with them, and the dog. There's a Jack Russell Terrier that runs around, and he despises because his dad has to move in with him. So there's all those complications there, but it's awesome, man.
Yep. toss salad and scrambled eggs.
That's it. That was a bad rendition of it, but yes. And then something would happen, like you would see the Seattle skyline in the logo in the opening, and then something different would happen, like a hot air balloon would come up, or a shooting star, or an elevator down one of the buildings. You would just see some random thing that would happen in that in the intro. It's good, man. It's really, really good. Great characters. A core cast of 7 to 8 characters, and just the madness that occurs around them. Who thought this would turn into a Frasier podcast? I did not see it going this way. It was a whole podcast to start with. Whole ass. Are we gonna half-ass podcast? Are we gonna half-ass this show, Brand? Or are we gonna whole ass this show?
Whole ass.
We always whole ass this show. Up next,
very holistic
on WHLE. Holistic. Yep, that's it. On news tonight, Nintendo Remake officially announced. What could that be? There's been so many rumors of so many remakes, and so far, they are right on one of them, and we'll gauge the show's excitement level. Sega passing games as a service, gas. Sega passing gas is how I should have read that, not games as a service, question mark. Switch 2 increasing in price, no. Friend of the show, not going to mention their name, asked me today about a Switch or a Switch 2. And I was like, you probably want to get the Switch 2 in the next few months.
Yeah, a couple months.
The hardware is like 8 years newer. It plays all the Switch 1 games. You're going to be future-proof for the next 4 to 5 to 6 years. Definitely go that route. Forza Horizon leaks. What is that? We already knew there was one coming. Find out later. Another Nintendo retirement. All these retirements and remakes have me craving another remake or a retirement. And we have your May Game Pass and PlayStation Extra and Premium titles. I'm one of your hosts, Richard Bergman, joined tonight by Newsmaster Brant McKee.
What's up?
Brant, how are you?
My head's like a hole, but I'm all right.
I got nothing.
I'm gonna keep it going somehow. I don't know.
I didn't know what you were gonna say. I was gonna say, "What's your favorite hole?" I don't know. In one, Brant. Hole in one is my favorite. Hole in one. Yes, this is my favorite one. Or like a whole lot of barbecue. Sounds like a good idea to me. That might be one of my favorite holes. No, it's pretty good. Brant, thanks for building the news. This is kind of a late recording.
No problem.
I've been super busy. I'm like, oh. But you always build the news week after week, and that's a huge lift. And I don't mention it enough, but I appreciate you putting it together. I'm
about to say you may have sent a picture of your schedule, and it may have been extremely jam-packed.
Oh God. Today was the only free evening I've had in at least a week, and maybe for the foreseeable week, and I had to cut grass. It's like, okay, I have an opening. It's not spent playing games or watching movies with the family or TV show or whatever we want to do. I got to cut grass and weed eat and all that other shit that comes along with it. Have you started cutting your grass yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually cut mine yesterday.
Was that your first cut, or have you already been cutting?
Oh, no. That was like third, fourth. No.
Okay. So. We treat ours, and I don't know what level of treatment, but it keeps down weeds and things like that, except for certain parts of the yard, which I've been weed eating, so I've been like spot checking it. But the big parts of the Bermuda grass, they had just now gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, we need to go ahead and trim this up. And I cut it on 3-inch height, and I didn't have a whole lot of what is that stuff called? You turn it over it'll suck it up in the bag. God, there's a term for this. I need to play more lawn mowing simulator, and then I'll know what the clippings, I guess it's clippings, but there's another term for thatch. That's it. There we go. Thatch. That's what I was trying to get to. There wasn't a lot. Like, I'm not shooting out all sorts of shit. It just kind of gave everything a uniform, flat. Everything just looks like maintained now. It doesn't look like it's going its own pace. Yeah. And we also, since I cut last, we put in a pool in the backyard. So there's like a third of the yard less for me to cut, which is nice. That cost is offset other places, but I saved on yard treatment and I saved on having to cut that area, even though we just sodded it like 5 years ago. Life comes at you fast. That's kind of that's just what happens, right? Brent, you ready to get in this news?
Yes, sir.
Nintendo remake officially announced. I don't think we need to even go over the story. I don't even think we need to acknowledge VGC. This is just a backdrop for our thoughts and opinions. Right. Did you watch?
It was kind of hilarious how it happened.
Yes.
How just Miyamoto out of nowhere is like, "Hey, look, I can't believe look, we got this game and here it is." And then all of a sudden they were like scrambling and threw out the the whole little, I don't know what was the 7-minute trailer, 10-minute something like that.
The direct was like 12 or 13 minutes if I remember right.
Okay.
But it was announced, unveiled, and people were talking about it all in the span of like 3 minutes. It was a kind of a whirlwind of, we had heard about this game coming, but we didn't know exactly when or what it was and all that sort of stuff. The game we're beating around the bush, of course. The Nintendo Switch 2 is getting a remake of Star Fox 64, which will be titled Star Fox. And that was a Nintendo Direct last Wednesday. Wow, a week ago.
Yeah,
we're kind of missing the boat on this one, but
it was the day after our show.
Right after. This comes from VGC. We'll go ahead and we're gonna use their notes. So VGC VideoGamesChronicle.com and Andy Robinson. Shigeru Miyamoto and Nintendo producer Yoshiaki Koizumi introduced the new game. Koizumi's the super high up dude, right? Like, he's the one that's always out there. He's the one doing the snap on the Switch stuff and showing off. I feel like I remembered him strongly from the Mario Galaxy directs way back when. According to the direct, blah 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 blah. It's a visual overhaul. This is Star Fox 64. This is that game that we also got on Nintendo 3DS, which was a fantastic version of that game.
Yep.
Digital Foundry, I watched a video on their impressions. This is a 60 frame per second version of this. We've never had a 60 FPS Star Fox 64. Which, when you're playing the 64 game, it plays so smoothly. It's like buttery smooth arcade action. I'm kind of impressed that wasn't 60 FPS. Maybe I need to go back and play that one. Yeah, like it
must have played at a consistent. But
Digital Foundry said that was like they were shooting for 30. It was kind of a loose 30, and then the 3DS one kind of held down the 30 frames per second. I remember that one feeling smoother. Maybe that's my most recent. You could beat Star Fox 64 in an hour, so maybe I run through like 64 and the 3DS versions in anticipation of this one. But what do you think, Brant? Just your hot takes. This is a new take on Star Fox 64.
I know at first hearing it is just another remake of Star Fox 64. It's like, okay, here we go. Here's another remake. But then when you actually get into the direct and they start showing, it's a complete visual overhaul. They've added all sorts of new story bits and cutscenes and content in between the missions that, gives more story and lore to everything going on. And there's all these new options that are open, different challenge modes, as well as new battle modes that you can join 4v4 in dog fights and all these back and forths, or like you're capturing cargo and bringing it back to base and all this stuff. They added a lot of good content. They showed off, of course, because it's Switch 2, we get mouse controls. They've showed it like in a first person mode, and you're using the Joy-Cons with the mouse, and it did look pretty fluid. And then the biggest thing I think for everybody is the visual aesthetic redesign of the characters, which I guess didn't go over super well with some people.
What is
but
the beef there? What did they expect? What did they want? This is perfect. This is like exactly ideal, perfect. What else would you want?
I think it's just, some people weren't expecting the super hyper realism, but even the original creator of Star Fox is like, yes, this is, that's kind of what I envision. It's perfect. And while it is jarring for some characters at first, I was like, oh, that looks a little awkward, but you look at the character, you see everything in motion, you're like, no, that's okay, it's the character, it's fine, it looks
totally fits them. Yeah, I've never pre-ordered I've pre-ordered some games quickly. As soon as these were going live, I'm like, I'm totally in for this. I have to have this.
The price is one of those things where it's still up there. It seems like $59, $49, depending on where you buy it. It's that dynamic pricing thing. But I know Walmart has been doing this price matching thing where they just go ahead and sell it for $49. They go ahead and just go with the lower price. And I think Amazon even did that. It went up originally at $59, and then a few hours later or the day later it eventually dropped down to $49.
Yeah.
So,
and Cesar sent us a link. Play Asia had it for, what was that equivalent?
Like 30 something.
Yeah. Play Asia link was like super inexpensive.
It was like 32 and some change or something. It was ridiculous. I don't know if he used any kind of credit or something he had, but that was a deal.
Yeah, fantastic. Friend of the show, Mark's Knight, this 64 one is one of his all-time favorite games. Like, when the 3DS one came out, he had just gotten a 3DS, and he was in the ambassador program and all that. And I bought him a copy of this. Like, I knew this was his jam. And he doesn't have a Switch 2 yet, but I'm going to make sure he comes over and plays. We play through this. You get all sorts of new cutscenes like you were talking about. There's behind the scenes, you see the crew playing chess in the background, and there's layers to getting to know this crew. We know this crew because we've been familiar with them for 30 something years. But this is a great reintroduction to who they are. Star Fox was a huge hit. Spoilers for the Mario Galaxy movie. Maybe skip ahead 30 seconds. That whole bit introducing Star Fox with the anime introduction and the watercolor cut. It was so good.
It's so good.
It borderline stole the show. So this is a prime example, right? My kids have no idea who that character is. We haven't played Smash Brothers. They don't know them from anything like that. They loved this character in the movie when we saw Super Mario Galaxy. And so the trailer comes out, and I'm like, let's cue this up and watch this. Do you remember the character from the movie? This is a remake of a game that me and your uncle used to play when we were kids, and it was a remake of another game. Remember, that was a remake of the Super Nintendo one. They've it's almost like the Zelda Link to the Past to Ocarina to Twilight Princess. They want to play the same thing on the next piece of hardware with some small changes. Gasp, it's Ganon at the end of it, right? Gasp, it's Andros pulling the strings at the end of this thing. But this is more it's not like an Ocarina versus Twilight. This is a remake of Star Fox 64. You can go the various paths. You save Slippy from the Cornerian people shooting at him, and then you go through the waterfall. It's got the branching paths, and but it plays I guess we need to recap Star Fox. It's an on-rail shooter, going forwards, Panzer Dragoon style. If you're more familiar with that potentially,
yeah.
But it's anamorphic animals. I had leaned over to my spouse during the Super Mario Galaxy movie and said, they cut their legs off like that. That's the whole thing for the G-forces. That's why they have those shoes. That's why they have those silver shoes like that. Did you know that lore? When I read that back in the day, it stuck with me. That's why they have those metal feet leg things. They cut their legs off and gave them those to survive the G-forces.
Well, I saw somebody I think these people used to be Nintendo ambassadors, and they straight up asked Miyamoto about, hey, do you know about the lore? Like, if they actually have metal legs, like, are
Yeah.
those their real legs or are they
Yeah.
metal legs? And he was so confused. Like,
Oh, so
I don't
it's
know.
something they came up with in the manual, maybe like in the
I think that,
translation.
somebody
Okay.
over here came up with that because he was completely thrown by that. They're like, okay, well, now just in case that comes up.
I think Falco had like you can see like bird feet. He has the
Yeah.
feet of a bird. He doesn't have the metal, or he has like bird feet going into metal shoes at the bottom. Because I was looking, I was like, are they keeping them? I think I have Star Fox for this Super Nintendo. I might be able to look up in the manual and see if this lore
Oh
exists.
my gosh.
But I have known this forever. Like every time I see the imagery and I look at their full scale like body pictures, or when I play them in Smash Brothers, I'm like, okay, their legs got chopped off so they could survive. For some reason, it was like they could survive G. It was high G forces because they needed
Only the
metal
bottom
legs.
half. Only the
Yeah,
lower half.
what gives? How does that work? Your head's still going through the G forces, right? Like why did they replace that?
Deep in the bowels of your stomach, just couldn't handle that G4.
Yeah,
But
deep in the
also
Star Fox lore.
Something that was like somewhat I don't know, weird, it's tied to this game as well, is the game chat filters that they added, where you can be any of the Star Fox crew, and it like you're full on like VTubing as Star Fox.
Mouth, nose,
like,
eyebrows,
nose, eyebrow,
cheeks, chin.
everything.
Yeah.
Everything reacts.
It matches up. You could be Fox McCloud in game chat. So does that come to game chat in other games? Is that how that works?
That's the thing, is I'm not sure if it is 100% like tied to this and you can only use those while playing Star Fox or what. Because I mean, they did show like people that are playing other games will still be able to see you as Star Fox, as Fox McCloud, as Slippy, as whoever you're being in the chat, like that. So
that would be.
I don't know if they're permanently unlocked once you've put that in cartridge into your system.
So is this like the next generation Xbox 360 avatar, like where you would or PS3? Well, I can't remember what they called them, but if you would pop in a game, it would maybe certain games or pre-orders would give you like different avatars that you could apply to your profile.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm Warhawk. I have a Warhawk one for PS3 and I have like a Gears of War one for Xbox 360. And it was Luca Brasi from the Godfather game for like probably 15 years for the 360. But that would be so great if that game chat thing carries over and those become like a digital avatar across future platforms. And you could be Slippy Toad or Peppy Hair. Is he just Falco? Is that his name?
Falco.
He has a last name?
Yeah.
What's Falco's last name? Did you think when you started watching the trailer, were you like, ooh, that's Lilat Wars? Do you ever think about like the European labeling of Star Fox? Lilat Wars and Star Wing, I think were the two names.
No, I'd never really thought about it.
There have been a ton of videos on Threads and other places of people playing, like going back to discover other Star Fox games, like playing Star Fox Adventures. And I wish it was before the show, but myself, Cesar, and Mark's Knight would hang out on the weekends, and we played through Star Fox Adventures on the GameCube. And it was
Falco Lombardi.
I knew that.
It slipped my mind too. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, duh.
Shit. Falco Lombardi. I'm surprised nobody lit us up in the chat. Amiibo support? Is there Amiibo support across? There's gonna be new Amiibo.
More than I don't know. I mean, the cost of making them has gone up so much.
They're crazy.
I mean, there could be new Amiibo. I don't know. They've made Amiibo for all sorts of other stuff. So
correct me if I'm wrong. When those came out, they were like $10 or $12, right? And then maybe the higher expensive, like the big ones, were $15.
Yeah,
but now we're paying like $30, $40 for these things.
They've gotten ridiculous.
Come on. The game supports Game Share, which is kind of like what was the last one to use it where you could use a original Game Boy or original Game Boy. You could use an original Switch, like the Switch 1 model or a Switch Lite. Did Donkey Kong Bonanza have a multiplayer thing you could do this with? Something used Game Share that I remember recently them talking about. Oh, Kirby Air Riders. I think it was Kirby Air Riders that used this. But like an ad hoc feature, the DS did this, the PSP. One person has the game, and then you don't even have to have a Switch 2. You can have one of those older models, and as long as you're close together, you can play like a multiplayer component of this. Anything else to add, Brant? Are you excited?
Oh yes, of course.
I'm super pumped.
I like you. It was a very easy go ahead and put my money down on that.
Yeah, big time. Even for just like a few playthroughs of that arcade style campaign and just having a good time with that. And it supports the Nintendo Switch Online 64 controller. You can sync that up and play as you've known how to do and could do. So a friend of the show, Chill Mills is one of the people, and there's one other. I think he goes by Spark Mir when we play with him. But I knew they were both also 64 games, and they're good. One's kinfolk of mine, but another one is a big friend of Mark's Knight as well. And I put that in a chat, and they were just drooling over these screens. I don't know if it's a system seller necessarily, but they couldn't believe that one of them sent back like, "Is this real? Like, is this a real game that was announced?" I was like, "Yeah, it's the one we know and love, coming back for a new generation." And we feel like, Brant, we're at that age, like it's another iteration of this. But that last one came out in what, 2011? It's been 15 years. It was a bigger gap between. It's back to the Ocarina thing, right? And Ocarina is the is the rumor that's existing out there. The gap between the 3DS remake of Ocarina and now is way longer than the N64 to 3DS, and it doesn't feel like that for some reason, but it is. And the Star Fox is the same way now. So this is for a whole new generation. We're essentially two consoles removed from that 3DS version, and the 64 one's available on Nintendo Switch Online Plus or expansion or whatever they call that thing, but. Man, it looks good. I can't wait. This was an easy win for them, I think. And we're suckers for Star Fox. All right, no more waxing poetically about Star Fox. Tell me about Sega canceling some games, Brant.
So I mean, we don't know if how many games, but they have canceled Super Game.
They don't make Super games. Super Nintendo has Super games, not the Genesis, not Sega.
No, this was the a couple years ago, I guess now. If it feels like a couple years ago, they announced that they were, in the development of Super games, which were going to be these kind of all-encompassing games that would span across it was like AAA titles across all of their stuff. And now, because this article is from Andy Robinson of VGC, more than likely due to the kind of volatile nature of all of these free-to-play games as a service games, kind of finally going belly up, I guess. Sega's kind of backing away from them, thankfully. Just like
thank you,
seemingly everybody else. This does point out, due to the weak performance of Sonic Rumble Party and its disappointing 2023 acquisition of Angry Birds creator Rivio, which saw its sales decline significantly. Sega said it's lowering the priority of free-to-play games in the immediate future. Over 100 developers who were working on free-to-play game titles have already transitioned to full game developments, focusing on mainstay IPs. The article does note that this does not impact any of the revivals of the classic games. A year
Golden
or
Axe.
so ago, yeah, they were talking about Golden Axe, Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, Streets of Rage, among others, classic IPs coming back. This does not negatively impact those.
Good.
But yeah, it's
Super Game.
Wow. That was May 2021 that Sega started the Super Games. I thought that was
maybe a year
only
or
a couple
two
years
ago.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Not 2001. Jeez.
It's that COVID accordion. Like we think it's we think it's way shorter, and then the accordion goes back out, and it's like, oh, that's when it was.
But they initially were going to spend invest some $882 million over 5 years to achieve the Super Games ambition. But yeah, they've kind of reined that back, and I guess that's a good thing, because
yes,
not all companies are built for this games as a service thing, and I think everybody else is kind of figuring that out now.
And even the ones that it's not a guarantee.
No, because I mean, Fortnite had to monkey around with their prices a little bit, because they even talked about how, like, hey, it's just becoming more and more expensive to run this thing. So
Sony got it there and was talking about writing off certain losses based off of Bungie's Marathon, which is not good.
Yeah, I mean, they
Marathon will be free to play before too long.
Well, the biggest thing you're referring to, that Sony had a kind of an investors call while they are literally still making hand over fist. They are the most lucrative that they've ever been. There was a slide showing a poor return with Marathon, but they're still, 100% behind Marathon, and have so good plans for it. So many plans. But there was also that slide, like, off to the side, they had valued Bungie, and it was significantly less than what they had purchased Bungie for.
Said studio for.
And that's not necessarily a good look or a good feel for probably those people at Bungie overlooking that presentation.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they have to know. They see the data before the parent company does.
Right.
They know how hard the servers are getting hit, and downloads and hours played and all that sort of stuff. They have that infrastructure.
Yeah.
Have you been tempted to go back to Marathon and check it out or anything?
No, not at all.
We got Warzone pulling at us. We got Old Man Halo. I want to check in on Battlefield 6 again. It's been a minute and we enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I would give that another go. As we stare up the hill against all the sniper scopes racing down upon us.
Nothing but sniper glint everywhere.
Ding, 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 ding. Nightmares.
But I don't know. I mean, what is even Bungie anymore? But they definitely not the studio we remember.
So that might bring us to some meat of the show here. John Linneman from Digital Foundry was commenting on the state of online discourse for video games and how negative and nasty it is. And people, it's a long, interesting thread. Is it on Threads or Blue Sky? I saw it on Blue Sky. I'm trying to see if Blue Sky will send me Wario notifications like Threads does, and then I can wean off of Threads and just do Blue Sky. But so far, no dice. But he was talking about the discourse of games, and there's been times where he's been personally attacked, so I don't know if it's any response to like, John, we hate your content, which if you do, that's fine. You probably don't need to share that. Digital Foundry does fine work. They cover all sorts of topics, retro, new, and they're Patreon funded now. So subscribe to the Patreon or support their channel or like and subscribe, ring the bell or don't, right? But he was just saying how nasty it was and how you can't really discuss those sorts of things. And it got me thinking, we stay open-minded with a lot of different things, right? But then there are times where we get shoehorned into these wormholes. And I feel like last week we got to that point. Were we talking about Halo Studios? There was some bit that we were discussing, or Xbox, some sort of Xbox rebranding thing. And it's almost like, what do you want from this? You know, are we pining for the heyday of the Xbox 360? Like you and I are talking about getting refurbished models from friend of the show, Thinking Inside the Box, to relive those days and have access to some of those titles again and stuff. But like, what do we want? Is the discourse just trying to relive times that we don't have anymore? Or sometimes I just question, like, what do people want out of this stuff? And then you see like Star Fox 64 is regarded as one of the best 64 games and one of the best like 3D games of that era, one of the best arcade shooters. Like it's way up there in that style of game. And you get all this vitriol about another remake. And it's like I said, it's been 15 years since that remake was done. Mm-hmm. You have people that were born the year that came out that are getting their learner license now. They either grew up with like a secondhand 3DS or 2DS, or they got one towards the end and maybe they got this game, but they're making this game available for everybody again in a different way. And I have played it both of those other two ways, and I'm excited to play this one. But then you get into, you know, what is Bungie anymore? What is Halo anymore? Star Fox was a horrible example because Nintendo is an outlier, right? We got a story coming up with a retirement. Like this dude worked on Super Mario Brothers 3. Brent, you were like -12 when that game came out, but I had to get it in there. It gets to the point sometimes where I was reading comments in this thread and I'm like, what do we have to say about these things anymore? There's so much negativity that you feel like you kind of have to be the counterbalance to the negativity, but it's just excitement for games. I'm just excited for games. It doesn't have anything to do with, we want things to be better. There's a giant Master Chief standee right here. I want more things with Master Chief. That's all it comes down to. It doesn't matter who makes it or how they make it or what the representation is. Mark's Knight and I played through Halo Wars a couple years ago, and that was a blast. It was awesome. It was fun being in that universe again. Cesar and I, when we went on our trip a couple months ago, we played through that arcade version of Halo, the Fireteam Raven. Awesome. Great interpretation of that story and being in that universe and the lore and everything. And I don't know what people want. And I don't know if it's online access or... like, are we part of the problem? Are we just talking heads reiterating the same stuff? I
feel like here we do a lot more devil's advocate, or just speaking more common sense.
Yeah,
we don't typically fanboy. We don't, champion one thing over the other because, like you said, we're just excited about the games. And
yeah,
I mean, we do have the opportunity. We're fortunate enough to where we do own a lot of these consoles and we have a lot of ways to play these games. And not everybody does have that, and some people are gonna be like, oh yeah, I purchased the PlayStation. That's the one I hung my hat on. And that's the hill I'm going to die on.
Right.
But when it comes down to it, especially now, somebody's asked me before, what should I get? Do I need an Xbox? Do I need a PlayStation? Do I need the Switch too? And it's like, it comes down to what you want and how you want to play it, because they're all about the same. It's like,
Yeah.
to me anyway, the PlayStation is, has certain exclusives. The Xbox doesn't have that many exclusives now, but still
And it
has,
used to be an easier recommendation than it is now.
but still has that play anywhere thing, to where you could jump on a PC or, jump on the ROG like y'all, and immediately it's just you're in your game, in your ecosystem, or where the Switch is all about portability. It's
And
with the
banger
Switch
first party
2,
Nintendo.
yeah, you're not really sacrificing too much. I mean, you like when me and Cesar were talking, and the last thing he was talking about was Resident Evil 9 and how great it played on Switch 2, and he didn't really see a difference between that, that huge of a difference between jumping from version to version. And
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some people that want to watch the world burn, or are just never happy and have to complain about something. So I don't know. You can't please everybody all the time.
I look at those sort of comments and I always frame, because we've been around for this is episode 396 of a weekly show. So we've been around for a long time, and I don't want to be a detriment to this conversation and what people bring up and things like that. And if we are, it's never been framed in that intent. And I honestly don't think we've ever come across that way. But I don't want the discussion to end up getting where we end up with nothing to discuss, like things have been said. And the industry kind of leads us in that direction sometimes, where it's like, sure, Bungie, like they made Halo, they made Marathon for the Mac. And now there's a new Marathon, but it's not like that Marathon, and there's still Halo going on, but this is the second studio that's gotten a hold of that, and there's nobody there that did the first one, or you just get into these funny things, and even like the Sony first party developers, that we want them to bring back some of these legacy IP that they just kind of have just let sit to the side. I feel like they're the worst offenders at that.
Yeah.
Xbox kind of piddles around with them and doesn't do anything, or half-ass does it. Sony just throws their hands up like they have no clue what to do with them. And it sounds negative, but at the same time, I don't know. I've started playing more and more old school games, and I think you've been tinkering around with old school games, and it's more of that.
That's where it's at, man.
It really is. I pop in a disc from 2002 that I'm playing right now, and it just works, and it just plays, and it fires up. Was it 2 weeks ago we tried to play Warzone? We checked on Warzone. It had a huge update. We checked on Battlefield. It had a huge update. I think we talked about that last week, and it just wasn't available. Like, we could not play these games together. So I don't know. I don't know what John was getting at. I need to check on that thread and stuff again. But Digital Foundry, if you've never heard of them, check out their YouTube and their various podcasts. And it's just really good stuff. They cover retro. They cover the best versions of certain games. They talk about it's a very technical podcast, right? They're going to talk about frame counting and frame rates and what's the other metric that goes through there? Like the refresh rate of frames. I don't know what that is. It's not frame rate. It's something else. Damn, it's another thing they do. Anyways. But they've kept up with Oblivion. When Oblivion came out, the remaster for Xbox and PlayStation and everything, they were running the data on that to see how that version ran and the subsequent updates and how better or worse that has gotten. That game hasn't updated in like 8 months, and it seems like they've abandoned Oblivion Remastered. And it seems to carry a bunch of the issues from the original code, where The more you play it and the more you save, the worse it gets. It's harder and harder to get it. Which sounds right. It sounds right to me and you, right? That we're playing these Bethesda games 20 years ago. It's like, sure, yep, that sounds like an Elder Scrolls game. nothing's changed there. Even though Virtuos pretty much did this remaster. I don't know. I get down on certain things, and then there's things like Star Fox that come through, and I'm like, you know what? Games can still be good. And I think these games don't go away. I'm playing so much PS2 and original Xbox, and I had like a 3-hour conversation with somebody last week about the Nintendo Wii. And that was so refreshing and so much fun. The Wii. And how they bought their partner the Animal Crossing for Wii because they could mod certain things into it, and they had a modded Wii, and they had all these things in there, and I was like, this sounds great. This sounds no less exciting than an experience that would be announced on a Nintendo Direct, right? Like the way they were pitching it to me and the enjoyment in that household, I'm like, that's awesome. That's what you're going for. That's video games right there. So I'll get off that soapbox.
Let's talk a little bit more some bad, but also some I guess kind of good. You can relay this to the person who was asking about it.
Yes.
Where the Switch 2 is getting a price increase. The price of the Switch 2 is increasing by about $50 here in the United States starting September 1st. But in the meantime, Nintendo's about to do a choose your game bundle available at select retailers.
What game can I choose, Brent?
Which will allow purchasers to redeem a digital version of either Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, or Pokemon Pokopia.
3 heavy hitters for Switch 2, right? And exclusives. You can't play though. Did Pokopia come out on Switch 1? I don't think so, right?
No. It was a specifically Switch 2 thing because I specifically remember seeing a few people go out and purchase a Switch 2 just to play Pokopia.
Pokopia, that's right. Oh, Brant, 5 new games announced for the Virtual Boy Classics on Switch Online. Those are some heavy hitters. Those are some heavy hitters.
You know what? Save it, and we'll add it to the end there too.
All right, we can do that.
All the monthly games.
We can do that.
But yeah, you can tell the person that was asking about the Switch 2 now might be the best time before the price increases and while they can add a free game to that.
Yes.
Some prerequisite Mario Kart, some Donkey Kong action.
I mentioned the price increase, but I forgot you now have the option of the new ones. Of the new pick a title bundle. Which we all got it at launch, the only choice was Mario Kart, right? Oh, but you got the regular SKU. You picked up Mario Kart later.
Yeah, I got the original SKU. I wanted a physical copy of Mario Kart. Somebody else in the household was keen on the Mario Kart bundle, and they did get the digital code inside, not a already preloaded onto the console or anything.
It's funny how that broke down, right? There was all these different variations of that SKU and box art.
And then we have VGC Crystallion. Earlier this week, it's Horizon 6 accidentally kind of leaked.
Came out.
Slashed just went live on Steam early.
Mm-hmm.
The game is actually slated for its release the May 19th. And early access starts May 15th. However, numerous sources, including gaming leaks and rumors, Reddit page, PC version acquired and cracked, made the rounds by pirates. Because, of course, once it goes up, even if they did work to take it down, but once it's up, the internet never forgets.
Immediate
People,
distribution.
yeah, had grabbed it and were able to go through the files and crack it.
Yeah.
They are taking strict enforcement action against individuals who are accessing this build, including franchise-wide and hardware bans, encouraging fans to sit tight for the game's release on May 19th. Yes. So please, yeah, if you do not download and play Forza Horizon 6 cracked version, unless you want your hardware banned.
We've also
don't play it online. People were playing it online. Dumbasses were streaming it.
Right.
Like
you're just opening the door there.
Yeah.
And we've known this. Like, this stuff has happened in the past. I think this week the Lego Batman Gotham Knights or something, whatever the name of that one is.
People on Xbox were able to download it.
Went live. They were able to download it, but take your Xbox offline. If you have to play that, take it offline and keep playing until that actual code authenticates. If you want to get your fun in for that extra like 3 to 7 days or whatever these windows end up being, just be offline. Don't risk this. It's not worth it. They will fucking find you. They know who's playing that shit. Yeah. There's so much stuff embedded in these things now. They know when you're messing with it. All right, Forza Horizon 6.
Yeah, I was about to say there's not really much else to the article. They say Microsoft hadn't really come out and said anything, but yeah, I mean it's one of those things. I guess somebody had the wrong date set up in their system for it to go live on that back end, and like I said, once it goes up there, somebody sees it and they go ahead and take full advantage. That's what happened.
Redistribute. A retirement from Nintendo. We alluded to this early. This is Takashi Tezuka. Mm-hmm. You may or may not have heard of this name. You probably should have. Tezuka from VGC.com. Tezuka is one of the most experienced game designers at Nintendo, having directed classic games such as, Brant, let me know if you've heard of any of these titles. The Legend of Zelda. Nothing after that. The Legend of Zelda from 40 years ago. The Legend of Zelda.
The Legend?
Okay, the Legend of Zelda.
That kind of rings a bell.
Super Mario World. The Legend of Zelda.
World.
Yeah, the world version. The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, and Yoshi's Island. Most recently, Tezuka was the producer of Super Mario Bros. Wonder. At 65, Tezuka is at Nintendo's typical retirement age, though his longtime collaborator, Shigeru Miyamoto, who is 73, remains active at the company as executive fellow. VGC goes on to note that Hideki Kono, known for Mario Kart and Yoshi's Island, and Kensube Tanabe, who worked on Super Mario Bros. 2 and 3 and the Metroid Prime series, had both retired from Nintendo in January at ages 60 and 62, respectively. They were two of many prominent Nintendo creators from the Famicom and Super Famicom era who were approaching retirement age, along with Shigeru Miyamoto. Super Metroid director Yoshio Sakamoto, who is 65, composer Koji Kondo, who is 64, Zelda boss Eiji Aonuma, who is 63, and Super Mario Kart designer Tadashi Sugiyama, who is 66. So all like mid 60s to, man, I didn't know Miyamoto was 73.
Yeah.
That's wild. He doesn't look or act 73 when he's doing presentations and directs and stuff, right?
No.
May we all be that spry and active at 73. Brand, I don't know. Takashi Tezuka, these are some of the most influential games that I've ever played. Like, these are titles that I go back to over and over and over and over again, and I have ever since their original release. These are some bangers, as the kids would say.
Definition of a classic.
I mean, if you've directed Super Mario World and A Link to the Past, if you have those two feathers in your cap, if you have one of those feathers in your cap, you're doing okay. So we wish him well in retirement. I wouldn't be shocked if he was like an executive fellow and chimed in on these sorts of things. And it seems like they can't leave. These creative minds and directors can't leave this property, this franchise, this work, right? They view it as something different than work. And we hope he can do what he wants. And if that includes coming back and chiming in certain things, like an executive fellow type role, that'd be wonderful. Game Pass games. Oh God, it's our second Forza Horizon 6 story of the night. It's coming up again. This comes from Megan Spur, senior community lead at Xbox Game Pass. Available today. This was as of May 5th. Final Fantasy V. Brant, that continues the trend. Like all the original, pretty much all those pixel remasters now, right? Except for potentially 6. Spoilers.
6.
Spoilers for next month?
Possibly next month. Or later this month. Who knows?
I last played that on Super Nintendo.
S3.
At S3. Probably 20 years ago. I'm due for another playthrough of Final Fantasy VI. It's so fucking good. It's so good. It's supposed to be
a good one.
It's really good. Forza Horizon 6. Go ahead.
I was about to say, I did have to have a discussion with somebody about that because they were like, yeah, I'm playing this Final Fantasy. I haven't played many of them. I was like, I think I started 3 on the Super Nintendo. I said 3. Okay, so actually 6. And he was, what? What do you mean 6? And
who's just now discovering this in 2026? Wow. That is we just accept that as we've known that for 30 years at this point. But I guess that makes sense. Yep. You discovered they are actually playing 6. They're not playing 3.
Yes,
they're not playing the Famicom Final Fantasy 3.
No, they were playing on the Super Nintendo. I was like, yeah, you're playing 6, buddy. Like, what?
Did you start off in 3 Magitech armor? If so,
it's still a great game, but just the wrong number.
Yeah. 3 was the first one with the job system, right? And then we got the first time we truly got 3 was with the 3DS, the DS version, right?
The DS and the PSP.
Yep.
Both saw a release of 3.
It was like a 3D version of those. 3. Yeah. Forza Horizon 6 comes to cloud, Xbox Series, consoles, handheld, and PC May 19th. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That's next week. Wow. Okay. Early announcement. But they Xbox rolls out the red carpet for some of these. Yep. Ben 10 Power Trip May 6th. They're still making Ben 10 stuff?
Must be an older game.
Maybe. Descenders next on May 6th. Wheel World also May 6th. The next 2 titles are also May 6th. Wild Gate and Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. Mixtape is May 7th. Cesar messaged me and said, please download this before your Game Pass Ultimate expires. So I have done so on the ROG Ally, but I have yet to play it. So I'm trying to do that in the next 4 days. I think Game Pass expires for me in 4 days. Available day 1 with Xbox Game Pass. It's just an advertisement for Mixtape, my bad. Outbound is May 11th. Black Jacket is May 12th. Call of the Elder Gods is May 12th. Elite Dangerous is May 12th. Doom the Dark Ages is May 14th. That now comes to Game Pass Premium. So that was previously on Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. That comes to the middle tier of that Xbox subscription service tiers. I said tiers already. I don't know what else to call it. And there's a new one with Discord Nitro that does not include multiplayer online, so I'm immediately out on that one. Like, I can't subscribe to that and play Old Man Halo with you guys. It doesn't work that way, which is totally bizarre to me. Subnautica 2 in-game preview comes out May 14th. And then, in case you missed it, Inconveni One Store Mini Stories as like a slice of life for a Konbini store, which is a convenience store in Japan. There's updates for Dead by Daylight, Sea of Thieves, and new benefits for World of Warships Legends, leaving Game Pass May 15th. So 2 days from this recording. Galacticare, Go Mecha Ball, Colibra, and the Souls of Limbo, Paw Patrol Rescue Wheels Championship.
No.
Yeah, I think we had a bit about the Paw Patrol games a couple months ago. And Planet of Lana for cloud, console, and PC. Those are your Xbox Game Pass games for the middle of this month. Brant, what's coming to PlayStation?
I'm about to say, like you did say, I did want to mention that, if you have Discord Nitro, you get some Xbox, or you get like Game Pass partnership where members gain access to the starter edition of Game Pass, which includes a library of 50 PC and console games, which players can download and play as part of their Nitro subscription. You also get cloud streaming, like 10 hours per month as part of that as well.
Which is not a whole lot. If that's your method of doing that, I think that's an immediate segue into something else. They're trying to... Everything's an upsell. So that's not shocking, but that's a very obvious attempt at upsell.
But let's move on to from our PlayStation blog here.
PlayStation blog.
Adam Michel. We've got some pretty good games that were actually announced today as before we recorded here. We have Star Wars Outlaws for PS5. Red Dead Redemption 2 for PS4.
Another good game.
Ramble the Mountain King, PS4, PS5. The Thermitage, PS5. Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn for PS5. Broken Sword.
Oh, Broken Sword
of the Templar.
Have you ever played a Broken Sword game? This is an old franchise.
I have not.
I haven't either.
That's PS4 and PS5. Enotria? Yeah, the last song.
Souls-like. It looks like a Souls-like.
Standard edition, yeah. And then as part of your premium, one PlayStation game. We have the classic Time Crisis. PS4 and PS5, which as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh shit, Time Crisis, that's awesome. And then I immediately probably had the same question everybody else did. Wait, what? How are you going to do this when it was a light gun game? And they immediately already put up that it has brand new gyro controls using the gyroscopic sensors in the PS4 and PS5 controllers. So this is definitely going to be one I'm downloading and
buy on the side,
trying out. Yeah. I want to see how it plays with that gyro. I'm sure it's fine.
I'm curious too. And I have premium. I bought premium this year, and I have not taken advantage of it a single time, and we're almost halfway through the year.
Well, now you're going to get to.
So maybe this will be the chance. Maybe. So you're telling me there's a chance.
And last but not least, as you alluded to, we got some brand new Nintendo Switch Online Plus Expansion Pass Virtual Boy titles. If you've got your
I want to add that
Virtual Boy
games are very expensive. There's no cheap Virtual Boy games. These are some of the most expensive ones. I know Jack Brothers is very, very pricey if you get a physical copy for the Virtual Boy.
Yep. Also coming, we have V-Tetris, Space Invaders Virtual Collection, and Virtual Bowling, and Vertical Force.
If I remember right, that Vertical Bowling had a lot to do with Nestor. If I recall, like the Nintendo Power character. I feel like I see him in there in the Virtual Bowling.
That might be Nestor's.
I don't know.
No. Because there was one that was Nestor's.
There is a Nestor's Bowling.
Nestor's Bowling. If if I remember correctly. This just says virtual bowling. Maybe, well, I don't know. Maybe it.
It's funny to me for the Virtual Boy when they give us 4 titles at one time. Like, if you're running through the Super Nintendo library and you give 4 titles out, that's not a huge chunk of the library, but there's like 40.
There's like 20.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, sure.
20 US titles.
Yeah, there's not that many Virtual Boy games. If you get about 4 at a time, you're talking about like double-digit percentages of the entire console's library that you're just dishing out there. But check that out if you have the Virtual Boy or you have the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass, and you have the Virtual Boy attachments, either the cardboard one or the one you actually set up. Brand, did you buy that? You buy the one you could set up?
Oh yes, of course I did.
Yeah, I've yet to mess with it. I can't remember if you had talked about it on here, or maybe you and Cesar had talked about it.
Yeah, I had messed with it. It's not bad. It's not bad for specifically Virtual Boy things. If you try to use it as a VR headset for other stuff, it
a little awkward.
It's not. Yeah, it's a little awkward. Yeah, it can be done though.
I was rummaging around. I thought I had something to show. We were gonna do games played and games acquired. We were very, very busy this past week, thus the Wednesday recording. But I played a little bit more Medal of Honor Frontline, maybe another mission or two. Not a whole lot to add there. I think I'm about 2/3 of the way through that game. So hopefully next week, when I talk about it, I've wrapped that one up. While I was on this kick of this era of shooters, because I'm very much enjoying the linearity of these shooters. Point A to point B, maybe some objectives, no crazy go here, make sure you do this. Just kind of the bloat of modern day shooters and campaigns. I went back to see which titles from this generation I didn't have. And I've always been a Medal of Honor, Call of Duty fan from way back when. Like, I remember when Finest Hour came out, our store was selling that. And Call of Duty 2, I picked up at the Xbox 360 launch. I've always loved these types of games. And I have most of them. So I'm looking at like kind of what the gap is in my collection. And I had none of the Call of Duty games for PS2 except for Finest Hour. Finest Hour. What is that one called? Call of Duty World at War something fronts. All fronts, maybe. But it's like an offshoot of the title that we all played last year on that stream.
Yeah.
Call of Duty World at War. So that was the only one I had, and I'm like, how does that? But I mainly had collected for like GameCube or Xbox for that generation, unless it was just kind of an offshoot, like a PS2 exclusive. That was one thing, but generally the PS2 is like the weaker version of any of those between those 3 consoles. And I didn't specifically plan that, but it was like, I don't have these 2. Let me see if I can round this one up. And then as time goes on, like when Call of Duty 3 came out, that came out with the Wii and the PS3. Of course, the 360 got a version, the PS2. But like, I was in retail and selling games at that time, and I was thinking, the Wii is offering like the most unique way to play this, and I got the Wii version of that when it came out. So I didn't get that one at launch, but I got it down the road. And I just remember the motion controls being kind of janky with that one. So I do have to acquire the PS2 version of that. I've got it for PS3, and I've got the 360 and PS3 one. The PS3 one, interestingly, runs at like 15 frames per second most of the time.
Ooh.
It's a very, very strange version of a Call of Duty game, which, going back to the very beginning, they've always performed really well. But what I'm leading up to, I found a really good deal on eBay for Call of Duty Legacy for PS2. And this comes with Call of Duty Finest Hour and Call of Duty 2. What they call it? Call of Duty 2? Yeah, Call of Duty 2 Big Red One. And they're totally different. Like, this is Finest Hour is a different campaign than the PC version of Call of Duty. The one that was just called Call of Duty, the Vince Zampella Medal of Honor, not Medal of Honor. And Call of Duty 2 Big Red One is a side story from Call of Duty 2 that came out for 360 as a launch title. They were developed by Spark. So that's kind of an interesting side note. And the composer for Call of Duty Finest Hour I saw, because I popped out the instruction manual. Remember when games came with those, Brant? How cool that was? When you could like open a case and pour through the manual and see what all was in there. But it's Michael Giacchino who does the soundtrack for Medal of Honor Frontline that I was talking about last week, and Ratatouille and Up and just a bunch of Pixar films, and he was kind of like DreamWorks' composer at the time. But I added this to the collection. World War II shooters. It's always a good time to kill Nazis. There's never a bad time to kill Nazis. In games played, we had a very busy week, like I mentioned. I took the Switch 2 to a cabin. We stayed with a bunch of friends in a cabin, and they had never played Switch 2. And I'm like, what is the best Switch 2 game to introduce these people to a Switch 2 with? What would you recommend? That we can all play together.
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart World. And so I have 2 Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controllers, and I have my original Nintendo Switch Pro controllers. I got 2 of those. I made sure everything was charged. I made sure everything was updated. The dock's updated. Everything's charged. And I take this up there and I sync all the controllers together. We had a blast. We had so much fun. We played like 3 or 4 Grand Prix rounds. We did, what is it? Knockout rounds is what they call it, where you have like 32 people, and then the top 24 make it, and then the top 16 make it, and then the top 12, and then 8, and then 4, and then there's a winner. I got blue shelled. I was winning this knockout round from probably the first lap. Like it's not lap after lap after lap. The knockout rounds, like they change courses. So you're just always racing something new as you go. And I was in first place for probably 10 minutes. It was so long. It was such a long race. One of the NPCs blue shelled me at the finish line, and I did not make it. I actually came in third, stumbling across the finish line after the blue shell. I could not believe it. I was like, I'm looking around like, are we streaming this? Is somebody filming what's happening here? Because everybody else in the room, I think there was one other person that came in fourth. So there was another, because you know, it'll just be you or they'll declare you. I guess you do have to finish it because there's the NPCs in that knockout round.
Yeah.
And somebody came in 16th. You know, people started dropping off and it was just me and another person. And I came at third and they came at fourth. And I'm like, how does this happen? I had such a beautiful lead and I got fucking blue shelled at the very end. But we did that. We did some Grand Prix. I've played a good bit of the game. I played some with you guys. I played some with my daughter, like the Grand Prix. And it does such a good job. Mario Kart's such a great co-op and like party game because there was somebody there that I don't think they've ever played a Mario Kart game and they won a race. Like they beat everybody else in one of these Mario Kart races. Like A is go, this is jump, and this is throw items. And you can pick it up and play. And I think that lends a lot towards Nintendo's philosophy of how they make games and how they create systems and how they just produce these experiences. But we had so much fun with it. And the other group of our friends were doing puzzles. So one of them said to us, like, did you bring games up here? Are you just going to sit up here and play games? And so, it wasn't even me. Someone else was like, did you bring a puzzle? Are you just going to set up a puzzle? Or are you just going to put together a puzzle? I was like, man. But the whole time I'm thinking, this is so great. Like, this is why this impromptu stuff. And like, it was the same spirit of the Halo LAN parties. Just various skill sets, and let's just go. Let's just have fun at this and laugh and cut up and drink and make fun of each other. And there's all sorts of hijinks that are going to happen. It was just, it was great. I want to do the game chat and stream that with you guys again and just play that because it was so much fun. And just in playing, like I got more outfits and I unlocked more soundtrack songs, and there's just stuff that I think you and Cesar went through and got all the outfits, right? Like right after launch. But I
think we did.
Yeah, I'm still collecting all that stuff, and it's just, what a game. It was so much fun. And just out of nowhere, like I packed this thing and I was like, we'll have it if somebody wants to play. And then 2 people were like, You brought that Switch 2 in Mario Kart, right? It's like, yeah, let's set it up. They're putting a puzzle together. We probably get some rounds in. It was great. It was so much fun. And not in a way like I like to play. Like I've got my OLED here and I hook that up and I make sure everything's perfect. This was just like a 1080p LCD. And we just hooked it up and we're sitting on this around this 40-inch, like split 4 ways. It was kind of hard to see, and it just, but there was a magic to just everybody sitting around and playing games, and I think that's the core of what makes what we enjoy special. And it was a really good time. I want to play some more Mario Kart World with you guys. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that was truly a lot of fun. But that's it for me. Games acquired and a couple games played over the past week.
I didn't. I should have put it over here. I did have one game acquired. It came in today, which was Indiana Jones and the Great Circle for Switch 2.
Oh,
which is the version of that game that actually cartridge. It's the only version of that game you can get whole.
It belongs in a museum.
Thing.
It so do you.
In a museum.
I cannot wait to hear your impressions of that one. That was Cesar's Game of the Year, 2 years ago? And it was on your list as well?
It is a great game. I love that game so much. Other than that, games played. We didn't really get to play anything over the weekend. I've been tinkering. I had been talking about getting in a new device in order to set up for somebody else. Just because that's what I do now. I love tinkering with these devices, and I actually enjoy going through.
I'm going to give you my two. I'm going to give you my two that I have and be like,
I'll set them up for you, man.
Brent, build me the best ones you got.
I love the hell out of this.
Yeah.
I love the hell out of this. So let me introduce to you what I am setting up at the moment. This is the Retroid Pocket 5. This particular one is themed around the GameCube.
Yeah, I see it immediately.
So you have a yellow stick, a gray stick, 2 gray buttons, a green and a red button.
Speaking of GameCube, I don't want to derail you. Did you see the decompilation of Twilight Princess Dusk?
I did.
Have you messed with that on anything? I have not messed around
with it.
Okay.
No, I have not.
I want to do the same. It looks like it runs really well on Steam Deck, and we all have legitimate copies of Twilight Princess.
Oh yes, we do.
Go ahead, Brent.
But this little device is actually pretty awesome so far. It's super light. So the back is made out of plastic. The front here is actually all one solid piece of glass. And is actually really nice. Feels really nice, really premium. Runs off Android. I of course put a custom OS on there. It's called Rocknix. Rocknix, which is of course a version of Linux. So far I've put a bunch of NES, Master System, Genesis, Super Nintendo games on there. Got a good number of PS1 games on there, over 100 right now. Still working on a few other things. I'm working on my build out. Trying to get a good mix of, what are games that are stuck on these systems that are like must plays, what are like some of the like hit sports titles, and just a good mix of action, adventure, a grab bag of everything. And right now I'm actually working on like Sega Saturn stuff on there as well. So putting a good number of Sega Saturn stuff on there.
What emulator did you settle on for Saturn?
Well, this thing will actually boot up a few different ones. I I started up Burning Ranger and watched the whole intro. I didn't actually play it. I wanted to put a few different other titles. That way I wanted to put Panzer Dragoon on here.
Yeah.
Because that one I know I'm gonna know 100% once it starts, once I start playing it. If it feels off, if it, if there's weird transparency issues, if but it's what's the most common, Yabase or whatever. I think is the one that boots up on there, but I think it might have
it's
a
like
different,
the oldest and most common, right?
Yeah, it's Rocknix actually has a part where you can, pick which emulator you're using depending on your system and everything. So if that doesn't work well, then I can always switch to a different one. But I'm assuming I've used that on like some Android devices before,
Mm-hmm.
And it's been fine. But via Rocknix, I've seen these Retroid devices, the 5 and 6, run everything up to Xbox actually even pretty decently.
Oh.
So I've got and it actually booting up Rocknix, it's got the RPCS3 emulator on there. So I might even see if it can run PS3 halfway decent. So
Okay.
it'll be interesting. But yeah, man, if you want to just throw me load them up, I'll build them out. I've got some very good builds already going.
Yes.
So
Doing the Lord's work.
A thorough library, if you will.
Yes.
Of all of my legitimate backups. That it takes a while though to get all this compiled. So
I know the configuration can be a lift also.
Doing the
Lord's work.
I'm gonna have to mess around with it a little bit more. I got I'm working backwards now. I did do Dreamcast and I was having weird issues with the multi-disc, which of course the only thing I was really
how does that work?
For some reason I told you about it before, where you can you basically throw your multi-discs, all the discs, into a folder and throw that folder basically into the ROM requisite, ROM folder that it's supposed to go in, and then you basically create a playlist file. You would technically create a text file and say, okay, this is, the first line. It's going to be, and you'd write out the path. So you do like whatever is going to be your folder's name. So we'll just say Shenmue / Shenmue Disc 1.
Disc 1. Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And then the line 2, Shenmue / Shenmue Disc 2, and so on and so forth. And then you would change that text file to a M3U and just put that M3U in the root of that
interesting
emulation folder. And it's for whatever reason, I would get it to show up, but every time I try and launch it, it wouldn't go into the game. So I don't know if something was off. Like I said, I missed. I just wound up throwing them on there and forgot about the playlist file, and then retried when I went to PlayStation 1, and all of the ones I did with PlayStation 1 worked fine. I mean, as soon as you hit it, it like comes up at the bottom, disc 1 inserted or whatever, and then starts the game, and it, it even says like one of however many, so if it's 2 or 4 discs, and I'm like, okay, so it's working, it sees it knows okay, so why didn't it, whatever, I'll just try again later. And I got to see if it'll do it for Saturn here for a few of these games. So
I heard you talking about some BinQ files. I was like,
oh yeah, got these bin and Qs, converting them into these CHDs.
CHD. That's new to me. M3U is the IPTV playlist format that we use for playing back videos and channels. Yep. Is that it for you, sir?
That's it for me.
All right. This concludes episode 396. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
See you.
Adios.